Hey, everybody. Hey, traders. Chris Pulver here. Just before closing bell on Tuesday, January 20th. Happy Tuesday. No, look, we came into this year. I was quite cautious, and I'm not saying I'm cautious for like bearishness. I'm saying I'm cautious because we're sitting at all-time highs. We barely budged through the holidays, and this market is a little bit top-heavy, crazy high valuations, price to perfection, and we have this AI narrative that is the only thing kind of keeping the story alive right now. I don't like the idea of buying tech in 2026. I like the idea of buying the physical AI build out. I'm looking at the idea of trading scarcity. So silver and gold, they're good trades. Copper is a good trade. Semiconductors, chips, they're pretty good trades. It's the physical side of the AI build out, not the tech side. I'm not that interested in software. On top of that, this market still needs to get the heck out of Mag 7. There's too much money tied up in Mag 7. Any rotation, any market broadening typically happens with this. It is easier for the market to broaden with a decline than it is for the market to broaden out by everything getting better and going higher. So we started out this year with the small caps outperforming. That was pretty impressive. But right now, the small caps are down as well as everything else. Right now, the heat map shows about 70+% of all stocks in the S&P are down. It is blood red out there. It is okay. So look, where are we at on a technical basis? The market, after a 2-day confirmation, we are hitting fresh lows today. I thought we would have a moment where the market kind of stalled. Let me use this chart here. So we had a nasty gap from Friday's close to Tuesday's open. We had a nasty gap, but we bounced, right back up here towards like 68.70, kind of contained the sell-off, and it just proceeded to go lower. I found some gamma levels this morning at 6,800. And we had some follow through. It is not an efficient day. The market sold off more than what it was priced to do. The VIX has been flaring up all day to 20 plus. It's one of those days. Okay. Now, what happens for the rest of the week? We're about to find out. I think, we go into tomorrow's trading. I was tempted to look at like my daily profit play and trying to sell something out for tomorrow. But if we have another sizable gap, it's not worth it. Let's just address the day fresh tomorrow, have some good levels, play the game like we play it every single day. Don't get faked out by a big gap. Okay. On top of that, engineered options. I thought we'd have a chance to carve out a net winner if we won our defense trade, but unfortunately the market went to fresh lows today, and it doesn't look like it's coming back here in the next 20 minutes. So I'm taking 2 small losses. I am intentionally, by design, trading small right now for this exact reason. Okay, I would much rather see this market down to 6,500, 6,550, or down here towards 6,200. I know nobody's going to enjoy that. Okay, but I'd much rather see the market down there for us to position for a longer window of wins. So I'm trading small right now, and we're going to take a couple small losses. I'll be down, trying to think, about $150 from last week. No big deal. We can stomach that, survive, and we'll keep talking through it, trading through it. I have levels in for the end of the month. I have levels in for the end of this weekly trade as well. We got filled on a 126 expiration for engineered options. We'll pay attention to that. I do have some master classes coming this week. So for new members, and those who've been with me since last week, come join me this week for a couple master classes. Let's talk through some stuff. Risk management and trade size is critical right now. Do not be a hero. Okay. Project options edge. I was pretty active today. I use these opportunities when we see some flare-ups in the VIX. I like to use the opportunities to sell some premium. What was kind of nice is I'm willing to go out a reasonable amount. I went out to December and I sold some puts below the April 2025 low. So I went to the SPY and I sold a ratio spread that's all the way down below the 490 handle. So I did a 525 by 490 ratio spread. If I were to own the shares of SPY, which I don't mind owning shares at 100, 200 chunks at a time, I have the capital to do that. If I were to own the shares, I would own shares. Let me do the math on that. So it'd be 490 minus 20. Let's see, that'd be 35 actually, minus the $500 that I got on the trade. I would own the SPY at 450. Okay. Now I'm not saying this is a perfect trade. Most likely it's going to be an income trade, but if I get assigned around 450, that's my break-even price. I have a 35+% discount on the SPY. Now, even if that trade, if I'm comfortable holding it back to all-time highs, that is a 56%, a little bit less, 54% return on my investment. I'll take that for a chunk of trades in the SPY. Also, I can just flip it for income. I could probably grab $5,000 to $10,000 on just selling some premium. So anyway, If the VIX flares up, I tend to be pretty active. I think that's counterintuitive for most traders. Unfortunately, is when the markets are falling, people panic, right? So what does the retail crowd do? What does kind of the dumb money do? This is not against retail traders. I'm just saying what does dumb money typically do? Markets down, they buy puts, they buy puts, they buy puts. Everything gets more expensive when the VIX is up. So you need to be hedged already. Okay, we have hedges in Crash Insurance Masterclass that are all the way down here for like a 30 to 1. If the market's going to be nasty and be down 10%, be down 15%, be down 20%, we have a 30 to 1 hedge that helps mitigate a lot of that risk. Okay? All right. So, what we are sitting at right now, I mean, you can see the SPY right here. I think we have the makings of a potential rising wedge. And that structure breaking down, we're gapping today. There's room for this thing to fall, potentially coming down to test these levels. Okay, that would be a broadening pattern, which means we make lower lows, but there's no follow through. We could go all the way back up to test the highs again. Okay, one thing in particular that might make this market somewhat tricky is if it needs to get the cleansing out of its system, it breaks the lows, it pulls back for a dead cat bounce, it makes a lower high, makes a lower low. Okay, and we're either looking for a bottom back at this previous all-time high, or worst case is we have another lower high, lower low, and it's organized, it's orderly, and it backfills some of this ridiculous drift we had in 2025. And then we carve out the bottom and we work our way back to the end of the year to finish positive. I am still bullish in this market. All right. This whole idea of fourth turning, the market's going to hell in handbasket. I don't buy that for a second. I don't think the US government nor the world can afford to have a major collapse in these markets. I really don't. Therefore, the tools, the resources, the levers we all have in place since 2008 will probably keep this market pretty well supported. I think that Trump and company are single-handedly going to do anything they can to try to keep this market near all-time highs or going higher to try to basically buy their votes and keep their power in November of midterms this year for the U.S. That's a big maybe, but it wouldn't put it past this administration to do whatever they can to show like everything is great. Everything is great. Here's what's coming for the American voter. Here's what's coming for everyone in the U.S. Here's what's coming for the world. Whether it's real or not, we're gonna talk the talk. Okay. So right now, I say we exercise patience. You know, when I go into some of my services and discussions and strategies, let me go to daily here for a moment. Daily. So daily profit play. Am I worried about this volatility on a day-to-day basis? No. In fact, this is a great environment for us to see that we have some higher premiums, higher VIX. We tend to see the markets have outsized expected moves compared to what the market actually does. That's good for us. Daily profit play, no problem. Waterfall income. We are stacking orders of waterfall income with a 10+% buffer, meaning we have room for error. Okay. Newsbreakers. I'm taking individual trades. It's not concentrated with the S&P 500. It's not correlated. It's an individual trade. I have a trade on Microsoft. I have a trade on Netflix right now. Double ups. I'm looking for some good opportunities and good flows. We had a trade today at 6,800. I didn't pull the trigger on it because I mean the market was already down 1.5%. I'm like, are we really going to push plus 2+%? Well, we did, and that's on me. But anyway, they'll have opportunities for zero DT flows and some butterfly spreads. Pinch point. We continue to see some of our trades that have already been running taking profits. All we needed was volatility. Guess what we're getting? Volatility. So those are paying out either direction. Engineered options. This class just started. Okay, we're 1 week in. This week didn't pay out. It's okay. I specifically talked about exercising caution, and we're going to talk about trade size and master classes for this reason. I will build these trades out on a week-to-week basis that we can literally lose 2 trades, win 1 trade, and break even. Now, is that the plan that I want? No, I want to win all of my trades. But with trade size and risk capital, the way that I'm deploying engineered options, we have some buffer. We let the market do what the market does best. And if it carves out a break even or better, we can be very profitable. Okay. So I'm still going to participate. I said to everyone this week in engineered options, like we're going to exercise some caution because my alignments are not great. We started to roll over on the 1 hour. We started to roll over on the 4 hour. I recognized that this morning. I said trade with caution. I hope you did, because right now we are down. So if the market can claw back for the week, we will have a winner. If the market claws back for the month, we will have winners. If we don't, that's why we take defined risk trades. So we will keep an eye on this because this rise wedge formation might have room to fall. All right. Crash insurance. We're hedging out. We've got some good trades in for the end of the year. Let's see if we get some pullbacks at the 10, 15, 20%. We'll pay, 10 to 1, 5 to 1, 20 to 1, 30 to 1. No big deal. Project Options Edge. I take advantage of trades like this when the VIX is up. I sell some premium. We did a couple trades today. XOM and SPY. We have some recent trades in on PGR and DE. Those are some great trades that I like. And then for my Diamond Club members as well, we actually have a conference coming up in a couple weeks. I'll be in Jacksonville at headquarters for an on-site in-person event. I think we have like 40 to 50 in attendance. We have like 200 plus people that are attending online. If you're attending live, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to see you there if you're a Diamond Club member. Foundational education. This is for everybody. My Practical Options is a course that I built for kids. Originally, my nephews, they were 15 and 18 at the time. And I've given this course from anybody between 16, 18 years old to 90 plus years old. I thought if I was going to build an options course from scratch, how could I get everyone to learn the beautiful asset called options, the tool called options? How can we trade the market up, down, sideways with a couple of very simple, straightforward strategies? Practical Options. So I give you some key terminology. I discuss the risk graphs. I go through options chains. I give you, everything I think is the pertinent, critical information to have and allow you to have enough information to think about a trade in a calculated way. Do I want to be bullish on this instrument? Here's how I can do that and express it in a trade. Do I want to be bearish on that instrument? Here's how I can do it and express it in a trade. Do I think the market's going to go sideways? Do I think the market's going to go up or down? I don't really know, but I can trade volatility. So literally up, down, sideways, teaching some strategies. I have 13 of my favorite strategies in this Practical Options course. If you are a lifetime member of any of my services or you're in my Engineered Options class, you have the full Practical Options course as a bonus. I've also been throwing this around the last couple of weeks as well. I found this oldie but a goodie called One Trade Mastery. It's the same idea. It's just I'm trying to give you as much like simple, straightforward, practical application knowledge. So when we take these service trades, you understand what a basic spread is. You understand what a basic option strategy can be. You can follow your option chain and navigate a broker platform so you can find that asset, find that expiration, find those strike prices, take your calls and puts for debits and credits. That little 10-second spiel, if you don't understand what that means, this is what I want to teach you. Anybody can learn how to trade options, okay? It is one of my favorite asset classes, and I believe this. Once you learn how to trade options, you will never think of the market the same way, and that's a good thing, okay? What I want to express right now is that this market is looking technically soft, looking technically vulnerable. That is okay. That is what happens. We do not need to force trades at these levels, okay? So what I'll be doing is controlling my risk, controlling my strategies, taking good stabs at the market. There will be opportunities on individual stocks. There will be high flying volatility, bullish and bearish on individual stocks. If the market as a whole is going to find some correction levels, well, it makes sense to me that the SPY might come down to about 652 or so, 650 perhaps. The SPX might fall down to 6,500 or so, okay? And I want to pay attention to this stuff because if we all of a sudden flip around and we have a big gap fill this week, it's just noise, And I don't know what the answer is until it's done for this day or done for the week. But I do know that from my prepping, if this market comes down to 6,500, I have a plan. If this market comes down to 6,150, I have a plan. If this market comes down to 5,500, I have a plan. Okay? On a day-to-day basis, I have a plan. On a week-to-week basis, I have a plan. So what we do is we have a plan and we trade that plan. And the one thing I can exercise right now, or one thing I can emphasize, is we have to trade small right now. There's too much uncertainty swirling. Do not try to be a hero. Do not try to pick up nickels and premium when it comes to a steamroller that could be gaps and geopolitical risk. Nobody knows how nasty the VIX can get because one thing I warn about is the VIX running from 15 to 20. This will trigger a lot of the volatility suppression trading. It will trigger them to exit. And so no longer are they looking to push the VIX back down, but it is kind of a coin flip. The VIX could go up to 20 plus and we could have a really big rip into the 20s, or the VIX could, of course, revert back down into the 17, 18s, maybe the 15s again. So I don't want to play with fire. If this market's going to rip up and we're going to have another drop down aggressively, volatility throws a lot of stuff out the window. So one thing you need to control right now in this environment is trade size, okay? Don't lose sight of the big picture. This market will ultimately find a way to carve out bullishness. All right. I truly believe that. I think even this year, we have a backstop from the U.S. government. We have a backstop from the Fed. We have liquidity. I think that it's in the world's best interest and the U.S.'s best interest to keep this party going. But it does come with some concentration risk. It's happening right now. And look, join me for class. Daily profit plan on a Monday through Friday basis. We're live every single day. And the reason we have that time together is because I am managing all of my trades. So you might jump into my daily profit plan and hear me talk about the daily profit play strategy. And then I'll post trades for members. You'll hear me talk about class and waterfall income. You hear me talk about newsbreakers with earnings. You might hear me talk. This is what I use it for. Okay. I am a trader that trades opening bell to closing bell virtually every single day. Okay. I use this session to talk, to teach. You can see here I've done these sessions before: anatomy of a trade, trading strategy breakdown, finding break-even prices, covered calls, debit spreads, credit spreads, rolling calls, butterfly spreads, at the money, in the money, out of the money. A lot of questions that people have, just generally speaking. Should I just buy gold, Chris? Should I just buy silver? Okay. Come bring your questions. Let's learn how to trade together. Let's have a plan. Let's have a process. Let's get the job done the right way. All right. It's not about getting lucky. This market doesn't reward luck over years and years and years. This market can reward luck every now and then. Coin flips are good every now and then, but I want probability on my side. I want long-term edge, and I can do that by staying as a participant in the market and surviving when things are a little bit hectic and crazy. All right. So if I can, I know that I can talk fast and be kind of fast energy here, but I'm pretty calm, cool, collected, and I'm thinking strategically and mechanically all the time. And I hope that helps. If I can help everybody in all of my respective services trade better, trade more profitably, not worry about the markets, not be stressed about the size of my trade or worried about risk. It's just a game. We play a game. It's risk capital. It's calculated risk. It's bets. Okay. But we can do this with a mechanical edge. We can do this with probabilities. And over the long run, we're rewarded. So stick with that process. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. That's a bit of a, happy 2026. We survived a couple weeks, but the market really didn't do much. Now it's showing the vulnerability to the downside. That kind of underbelly has been broken below the 50-day moving average. I just want to kind of put out the warning that, yes, this rising wedge pattern is starting to take place. I had this thing dotted since this first low back here in December. I was already prepared for this pattern. Now that we've rolled over, I could see this playing out a couple different ways. Either this proceeds to go lower with a lot more vulnerability and volatility, or this might have a quick reflexive rally, back up again, fail at the highs, and then roll over from here. But either way, I think that this is a realistic level, and this is a realistic level if we even attempt to find them. Because what takes away this entire look? The market goes up for the rest of the week and fills a gap. And all this is a pullback to buy, a pullback to buy, a pullback to buy, and we are none the wiser, and it's what this market's been doing since literally the bottom in April. All right? So more to come. Join me in class. I look forward to seeing you soon. And bring questions. Bring your best. Let's make 2026 a great year. All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.